Out of your vulnerabilities will come your strength. We are never so defenseless against suffering as when we love. From error to error, one discovers the entire truth. The only person with whom you have to compare yourself is you in the past. Thought is action in rehearsal. Friendship is an art of keeping distance while love is an art of intimacy. In the small matters trust the mind, in the large ones the heart. Time spent with cats is never wasted. The first human who hurled an insult instead of a stone was the founder of civilization. The ego is not master in its own house. Love and work, work and love, that's all there is. Public self is a conditioned construct of the inner psychological self. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. Where does a thought go when it's forgotten? A woman should soften but not weaken a man. Everywhere I go I find a poet has been there before me. Immorality, no less than morality, has at all times found support in religion. The madman is a dreamer awake. He does not believe that does not live according to his belief. America is a mistake, a giant mistake. The intention that man should be happy is not in the plan of creation. Love and work are the cornerstones of our humanness. Loneliness and darkness have just robbed me of my valuables. Where ID is, there shall ego be. How bold one gets when one is sure of being loved. Neurosis is the inability to tolerate ambiguity. There are no mistakes. Public self is a conditioned construct of the inner psychological self. Love in the form of longing and deprivation lowers the self-regard. I had thought about cocaine in a kind of daydream. Smoking is indispensable if one has nothing to kiss. Man has, as it were, become a kind of prosthetic god. Anatomy is destiny. Time spent with cats is never wasted. Where such men love they have no desire, and where they desire they cannot love. How bold one gets when one is sure of being loved. He who knows how to wait need make no concessions. Everyone owes nature a death. Dream is the dreamer's own psychical act. Nothing that is mentally our own can ever be lost. We are what we are because we have been what we have been. If children could, if adults knew. The weakness of my position does not imply a strengthening of yours. Neurosis is no excuse for bad manners. When one does not have what one wants, one must want what one has. Places are often treated like persons. For there is a way back from imagination to reality, and that is art. Dreams are never concerned with trivia. Dreams are often most profound when they seem the most crazy. Human life should not be considered as the proper material for wild experiments. With words one man can make another blessed, or drive him to despair. Woman, what does she want? Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Trying to be completely sincere with yourself is a good exercise. Humans' intrinsic nature manifest in its misunderstandings. How far back into childhood do our memories reach? Every man must find out for himself in what particular fashion he can be saved. If one of us should die, then I shall move to Paris. There is no such thing as an unconscious no. Dark, unfeeling and unloving powers determine human destiny. Where does a thought go when it's forgotten? Every man is a poet at heart. We can never give up. We only exchange one thing for another. The medical profession is justly conservative. No one who shares a delusion ever recognizes it as such. All that is to live in endless song must in lifetime first be drowned. No one who still shares a delusion will ever recognize it as such. Individual liberty is not an asset of civilization. Dream disfigurement, then, turns out in reality to be an act of the censor. All family life is organized around the most damaged person in it. Experience teaches us that the world is not a nursery. The words for much that remains mute in me. It is an honor to have plenty of enemies. We are never so vulnerable as when we love. We never lose what we really want. Couldn't I for once have you and the work at the same time? Dreams are the royal road to the unconscious. As a scientific rationalist, Freud distrusts the manifest content of dreams. The renunciation of aggression is inherent in its constitution. They love their delusions as they love themselves. What one forgets once he will often forget again. Everywhere I go deep, I find a poet there before me. The only person with whom you have to compare yourself is you in the past. Thought is action in rehearsal. The ideas so far produced are insufficient for the interpretation of the dream. God is dead.